buddies. If you don't know who your buddy is, well, I've done all I can. The second thing, though, is many of us are not here because of COVID-19. So if you haven't checked in on your buddy, please do so. We have a tendency to forget about those people who are at home, and we just assume they're doing okay. So please, that was one of the things. We had our board retreat this past Saturday, and that was one of the things that we agreed we needed to do a better job, which is make sure that Rotarians don't get lost in the shuffle.
Hey, Keith, Joe Beaver's birthday today. Joe, if you're online,
Joe,
happy birthday.
are we singing to Joe?
No.
Okay. You gotta be here, Joe. Thank you all. You also,
Hey, everybody should say happy birthday to Joe because it's live.
1, 2, 3.
Happy birthday, Joe!
All right. You get a song, you come.
Must be present to sing.
You also should have gotten a dues statement in your email. The dues for this quarter are half of what they normally would be. I really hope we return in the third quarter to full dues, because that'll mean we've got a vaccine and we are moving forward. But for now, we are trying to give a little break to everyone on your dues. But please pay those, because Michael Grubbs gets very angry when the list goes on and on and on. If you haven't paid your dues, we may have to send the hammer out for you.
Hey, Keith.
Yeah.
Michael is watching.
Oh, well, good. Hey, Michael. We did have a very, very successful board retreat, and one of the items that came out of that retreat was that the president-elect's father fell down, and did he break his arm? So she couldn't come because she was at the VA hospital. So I hope your father is doing well. More importantly, I hope you didn't lose too much sleep, Michelle.
No, we're only getting up a couple times tonight. We're good.
But we did have a wonderful retreat, and one of the things that came out of that retreat was a desire to have more smaller service projects. So keep that in mind. You're going to see, somebody suggested we go pick up rocks one day. I don't know who did that, but there are plenty of rocks in fields in Sumner County. So we'll be back in touch with you on that. But at the rugby field. Oh, okay. So you don't want to hit a rock when you're playing rugby? Is that? Yeah. Okay. Don't want to hit a rock playing rugby. The pancake breakfast is a service project, and it's hard to believe, but they're already starting to. Are you coming up? I'm dragging it out so that to give you an opportunity to come up here.
Until I get done.
Sarah was going to do it. Sarah? Can we have a drum roll, please? Julie and I went out last night to Delia's restaurant, Jolly Ollie's, and we're going to have a pancake breakfast at Jolly Ollie's. She has remodeled her restaurant. It is beautiful. We can spread way out. We've got downstairs, we've got upstairs, we've got a covered deck, we've got outdoor seating. There's room for us. And in the kitchen, we're going to be a little tight. So Michael Grubbs going to be playing the music. We're going to be moonwalking in the kitchen. But when we moonwalk, we're going to be going out the kitchen door. So it's not as big for dancing, but we're going to have a blast.
Yeah, it's going to be beautiful. And I encourage you guys, as soon as the city lets this lovely lady open those doors, we need to support her because she's been through a rough time. And
Chicken wings for breakfast.
ooh, yeah. Pizza for breakfast. I don't eat cold pizza, but I hear it's pretty good. We thought about it, and we weren't weren't sure if we were gonna get to use the school or not, and we're still not sure, so we just decided yesterday, nix that, we're going to a restaurant. So we're looking forward to it, it's gonna be a lot of fun. The Madison Riverboat Club does theirs at O'Charlie's every year, and they raise lots and lots and lots of money. And I was talking to a couple of my friends that are in that club, and just asked them what makes it different from a restaurant, and they said, well, when you're in a school, you're spread out, but when you're in a restaurant, it's more of an intimate, cozy little gathering. And so that's why we were sitting across the street at Ruby's having a meeting, and we were talking about, well, what are we going to do if we can't have it at the school? And I said, look across the street, y'all. And called Debbie, and she was like, sure, come on. So we're excited about it. So we hope you come November 14th. Only costs you $5. And Russ has some announcement. He's been working hard for us.
I've assembled the dream sales team. So when I call to sell sponsorships, when I call your name, if you're not already up here and you're here, please come on up. We have Marilyn Van Order she's going to be on the sales team. She's also cheering this. She's put a lot of time and effort into this. Lee Brooks, come on up. We've got Delia. She's right behind you. Or Julie, she's going to be on the sales team and doing pretty much everything. Jonathan Hayes, he's on vacation, so hopefully he's watching remotely. Keith, you're on the sales team. Do you know that? I did not. Well, you're on the sales team. You're a good salesman. So, Fran Marcoux, she's sales team. Oh, okay. She's going to be our number one salesman in the field. Deanna Long, I don't think she's here. Diana Long, I don't think she's here. Karen Mitchell. Here. What about Ashley Lee? Ashley here? Michelle Owens. Is she here? Did I see her? Alright, so this is going to be the dream sales team. Don't run away from them when they're chasing after you after Rotary. Right. They'll chase you down and don't avoid their calls. This is for an important cause. But most importantly, we have Troy Smith as our designated motivational speaker.
Oh, man.
Big T is going to get everybody motivated.
And you can't hide from me.
No, you can't.
Wow! I can't do my Gunny. Hey, look, appreciate Gunny, man. We got to thank Gunny. That's not easy to wake up every day. Because every minute they're going to yell at us and get us all pumped up. So I didn't know I was really going to be on this committee, even though I told them no. But it's the good thing about it. Let's be honest about it. We're at a time where we don't think anything will be happening yet because we don't know what's going on, right? We're all a little skeptical. But there's been a lot of projects that's been canceled through Rotary, right? Because we just don't know what's going to be happening. So this is one project I think we should all get behind and just see actually come to fruition. We got Marilyn crying, feeling bad because she just wants people to help. Please. But it's the truth. We're known for helping people get to school, so we give money for scholarships. And from the board retreat, we got some great ideas happening in regards to how we're going to help meet those needs for scholarships. You know, we may think, who's going to school? Nobody's going to school, they're at home. Well, the thing is, people are still going to school, but we also still have an opportunity to actually impact the community in general by helping people get to school even online. Because they're still charging people, I don't know if you know that. Our goal is $10,000. That's the goal. 10,000 is what it is. So what we're trying to do is just have people actually just get on the sponsorship list, not just get your name on the paper, but hey, this opportunity to feel good about doing one thing this year. Okay? One thing. We had to cancel a lot of things for the Rotary, for raising money, but this is a good opportunity to do one thing. So remember that one thing. Okay? 10 stacks. $10,000.
Thank you, Charles.
I was supposed to talk, but these projects I'm really passionate about because my son got a scholarship 7 years ago, and this is how I got introduced to Rotary Club. And then for my son being an immigrant and being like a foreign kid with no English, get scholarship was a big boost of his self-esteem and still like so grateful when Julie sent me pictures and sent me one of you guys in a suit and be so like man up and so like look older than and so happy. 7 years I carry on this happiness as a parent, and I think no matter what's happening right now, we still have parents who want to be happy and they want to improve their kids' life, and I think we have opportunity to do that. And I do silent auction, you know, we have social distancing and we have so much going on, we try to adapt, but I think to tell community you're still there and bring your gift cards, I don't know, like items with your name, I think it'll get you, show that you are still existing, because we're kind of hiding all of us and we're slowly getting out of our houses. I think it'll be a good opportunity, and plus, just let help families, kids who are graduating this school year, they feel how I felt, because it's so important, and I'm thinking I will remember this the rest of my life. But thank you.
And they're having a meeting right after this, we get done. So please, if you're interested in being involved, go meet with them across the hallway. By the way, as part of our retreat, I put together some numbers, and it is amazing. Forget Mary's Magical Place. Forget the first responders. Forget all of those special projects we have done. Forget passing the hat. In the last 8 years, we have given away, both in scholarships and grants to nonprofit organizations, $650,000. When I looked at that number, I was like, wow. You don't even realize the scholarships. I think the number, I don't have them with me, was 250,000 in scholarships in the last 8 years. And the only reason I stopped there was that's all I had the numbers for. So, this organization does a lot in this community. And yes, I can verify that Dr. Faulkner's fine institution, even though you're going to school virtually, is requiring that you pay tuition. They got infrastructure costs. So, you know, it's amazing. You know, Fran's got us started at 7:30, and now it's become a habit. So you look and you go, wow, I can't kill any more time. And so, Don, are you awake back there?
Yeah, I want to tell you.
Do you have anybody to assist you today?
Well, of course.
Michelle.
Michelle. Because I love you, Michelle.
I love you too, Don.
Thank you.
And the amount of money you.
We're going to make more money today. Jerry Walker.
Yes,
Your question.
my buddy is president.
Well, now, several people told me to check with you because they didn't think you were even half here.
This thing what?
The chief was half here.
Oh, well, I can't vouch for the middle state. Modern state.
Act like they were free. And I think you should, I appreciate your safari pictures on Facebook. I think they've come to an end though.
Yes.
And I'm really feel bad. If y'all haven't seen his safari, that's pretty cool. Okay. Milton.
I don't know where Barry is.
Don't know?
Sorry, no.
Give Michelle $1.
I don't have his number.
Keep her happy. Becker.
Yeah.
Who's your buddy?
Greg Moats.
And he
is knee deep in knees doing knee replacements.
There you go. You teach your kids to lie?
We define lying as like, it's okay to lie if it's like, we're all having fun.
If it's like something like what Trump does, right? us $1.
Do you take Venmo?
Yes.
You do that?
Oh, of course. Yeah.
We actually don't do Venmo, we do PayPal.
Promise, I'll put it straight. Okay, let's find out if there's more money here. You need, Carol Baldwin, where are you?
I'm right here.
Well, hi there.
Hello.
Who's your buddy?
You know, it's a new buddy, Jennifer Flanagan.
New buddy, yeah.
I have not met her yet. Hi, Jennifer, you're online? I need to meet you.
Now you know where she is, right? Get your dollar out.
Okay, you know what?
I mean, it's a sad story.
I'm happy to do that.
Well, I'm glad you're happy. Nancy!
She says I'm here.
Same day, aren't you? No, you're not. Where's Nancy Myers?
She left.
She left already? Remember to get $1 from her next week for being the first time. Rita Ward.
Yes.
Hey, who's your buddy? Uh-oh.
Kathy's
Yeah.
somebody. What's her name?
Sounds like... No. Susan Martin.
Who? Who is it?
Susan.
Susan. Susan, if you're out there.
She's not.
Oh,
Pull a
she's not.
dollar
Okay, I'll
out.
have to call
Do you have
her.
$1?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah. Just slipped your mind. Gary Piper, I saw you somewhere.
Sir, yes, sir.
Service number?
AF 282734744, sir.
Sir. Who's your buddy?
Doug Turner, sir.
Where's Doug Turner?
Hopefully watching.
Hopefully watching. That's $1. Thank you, sir. We appreciate that a lot. Mary Poole.
Here's my $1. I've been
give it
ghosted
easily.
by my buddy.
Fran Marcoux, you're behind me somewhere.
Yes, sir, I'm right here.
Who's your buddy?
Delia.
Oh,
Hi.
no. Delia that was out the sign-in thing here?
Ruh-roh.
I was carrying camera with Sarah.
Okay, that's only cost you $1 then. Okay, Jamie Clary. By the way,
Everybody's my buddy.
Jamie already gave me his $1 for being first in for next week. Now, who's your buddy, Jamie?
It is Joe Martin.
And he's
supposed to be online, but he's not here.
Really? Hey, Gunny, is that the truth?
Carol.
I hope
Carol.
you didn't give me your $1.
Carol. She said nice to meet you.
Nelson.
Sir, Marion Lyons, good morning, buddy. I have a pulpit this morning that conflicts with Rotary. I'm afraid to see next week.
You know who my buddy is?
I am so proud. No. Yes. Sonny. Julie. Where's Sonny Rutherford?
He sent me a text yesterday that said he would be in a training.
He'll be in a
Training. I guess he's learning how to arrest people.
Let's see who's happy today. By the way, I'm going to start off. I want to make sure Michelle knows we're making a lot of money today. I promised her we would. We have from Michael Gruss.
He's on here.
It's his 25th wedding anniversary. Married to Deanna, and he's giving us $25.
Woohoo! And he's online listening.
Yes. What are you happy about?
I'm happy because my buddy's here today, Ron Marcoux.
Glad too, Ron. Good to see you. Who else is happy?
I am.
Susan. I can't tell who anybody is anymore. What are you happy about?
I am happy because Abe and I had a fabulous RVing trip. And in spite of the fact that he lost the keys to the Jeep at the top of a mountain, we discovered as we got to the Jeep 5 hours later, we still had a fabulous time. He put it on Facebook if you want to hear the whole story.
Yeah.
It's got a Facebook page, it's pretty amazing.
He's a great storyteller.
Good news. Yes, ma'am.
I'm happy because my dad finished his
last radiation treatment for his esophageal cancer yesterday.
Like that. Well, yes, you have more money.
I have more money. So I'm happy because my daughter and grandson got married in Florida this past week, last Friday.
Wait a minute,
It
your
was-
daughter married your grandson?
Well,
Give her the dollar back.
no. Tony was a part of this marriage to Brandon. Brandon is the fiance. They finally got married after not being able to be married in March. So the wedding had been canceled a week and a half before the wedding in March. They were able to reschedule it. It happened. It was beautiful. Great weather. We're excited.
Dynamite, good.
Do you have money?
I just Venmoed you $1, Don.
Thank you.
I just wanted to, last week we got to go to Young Life Camp, and through the whole thing, I mean, nobody got sick. It was like we forgot that there was a pandemic and COVID was in the world, which was awesome, and kids had the best week, and they forgot about everything, and so just, it was awesome. So thank you.
Granddaughter couldn't come because she had the virus.
And yeah, she said we had to keep her.
Michael says he'll be released 25 more.
What?
That's Michael.
Yeah. What about it?
That's what he said to say.
He hopes for 25 more.
Uh-huh.
Oh, good, yes. Michael hopes for 25 more.
Well, so
Do
do
you wanna
I.
give me- Do you want to give me 25 more bucks? Who's next? Yes,
In 2 days, it will be 6 years since I'm a citizen of the United States.
Woo!
Anybody else?
I do.
Oh, hi there.
I'm giving you $1 because I forgot to sign in, first of all.
Aw, she's
I know that.
honest.
And I am happy because I took a vacation with my husband to go visit his family in North Dakota. And I thought, well, this will be my first time to be able to visit a Rotary Club in another state. However, Keith was right on the money when he said, is there anything out there? Because there was no Rotary meetings within 100 miles of that place. So I am very thankful. I felt sad for them. I thought if I moved here, I'm going to start a Rotary Club. But I'm just very grateful that we have this club here in Hendersonville.
Bye, Troy.
Love how you called him out, Michelle.
Boy, there is no way Troy would speak out.
Good, have a day.
Thank you, everybody. Again, to emphasize, I have done everything I can to ensure you know who your buddy is and you contact your buddy. If you don't know how to get in contact with your buddy, go on DACDB. The instructions are on the Gazette with your password and your username, and you can get everybody's information. In fact, you can get the whole district's information. If you want to, really be freaky, go out and try to find people somewhere. I will tell you, though, and Tracy, thank you for that shout out to the people of North Dakota. Was there snow there?
No.
Well, I mean, the other day, Genevieve and some of her friends decided to go to Cades Cove for a camping trip. And they set out in 2 cars, and they got as far as, I think, Carthage, when one of their tires blew out. Well, luckily, one of the friends called his father, and he came, and they took care of the tire, because of course he didn't have a spare. Because if he had a spare, there wouldn't have been any air in it. So I mean, so they were prepared. So they get back on the road, and they're between Cookeville and Monterey, and his other tire blew out.
Oh, no.
Oh, I forgot. At some point, Genevieve they had to get duct tape to duct tape the bumper onto the car. But anyway, so they're outside of Cookeville, in Cookville and Monterey. What do we do? And this young man had been an exchange student. In fact, Genevieve and he met in Belgium. Interestingly enough, he lives in Mount Juliet, but because they're in a different district. No. Am I that boring? But because they're in a different district, they didn't know each other in the United States. They met in Belgium. But in any event, he said, one of my Rotary sponsors lives in Cookville. They called him. He said, I'm just leaving the office, I'll be there. 10 minutes later, he picked them up and managed to help them get a new tire, at which point they drove back home. Because this so with that, remember, you always have Rotarians out there. Mary Cool as our speaker today. Mary, would you come up and introduce our speaker?
Hello, everybody. I'm not going to hold off because I think we've got a really dynamic speaker today, so I'm going to go ahead and tell you a little about it. For over a decade, John Michael Morgan has been coaching entrepreneurs, leaders on the subject of personal development, leadership, and marketing and branding. He is a best-selling author, keynote speaker at conferences, colleges, churches across the world. John is the founder of Achiever, a unique coaching program and tribe of entrepreneurs and leaders designed to help you master the beliefs and behaviors you need to consistently hit your big goals. He coaches and advises some of the world's most successful brands, including, get this, Google, Disney, BMW, and Twitter. So would you give a big round of applause for John Michael Morgan.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here. I normally get to speak on normal years all across the world, and to be able to speak in the town that I live, the town that I'm from, is truly, truly special to me. I know my father's looking down on me right now. He's not dead, he's just very condescending. And I always love telling that in a room full of people that they know him, because they just be like, yeah, actually, I've met him, that's just a joke. So I was excited to come here when Mary asked me, because this year has been really crazy for a lot of people, a lot of leaders, a lot of businesses. Every community has been impacted, and during this time, I think I have been on 8,000 Zoom sessions and trying to help people navigate through everything. And specifically, what we have seen is there are a few key elements that are making people and organizations absolutely thrive during this season. And so I want to share those things with you today. And before I get into these three things, what I want to also get you to really just understand is the difference between seconds and a season. That, life is full of seasons. We go through, weather seasons and all of that. But often our mindset, the moment things get crazy, is we assume this is now how it's going to be. And instead of treating it like a season, we think that the seconds we're in are everything, and that now that is permanent. And a great author many, many years ago, Napoleon Hill, who wrote a book called Think and Grow Rich, said that if you really want to be successful, you have to know the difference between a temporary setback and permanent failure. And one of the things that I have seen during this entire year is how many people immediately shut down. And I don't mean they physically shut down their location. I'm talking mentally, they shut down. They gave up. I mean, I saw so many people say, oh my goodness, my kids aren't in school. Now they're going to be stupid because I don't want to have to teach them. I have to work from home. This is crazy. So they just watch Netflix. And in some ways, I don't understand. I've always worked from home and we homeschool our kids. So as it turns out, I've actually been in quarantine for like 20 years and didn't know it. And so I see everybody complaining about their life. And I'm like, wait, is my life that bad? Have I not known that there's other ways to live? But the truth is, it's a season. It's a season. And you have to look at it that way and understand that, especially this year, every 2 weeks, there's something new that, is thrown at us. We kind of skipped over murder hornets a little bit. Like that seemed, like it was going to be a big deal for like an afternoon, and then I don't know what happened, so we're good there. But things are different. So this quarter is going to be different than the last quarter, and really for the rest of the year, and probably in the next year, things are going to look a little different and a little odd, however you are trying to lead and show up in your life. So if you want to really thrive, the first thing you have to do is you have to protect your mindset. And I love this group because I love the focus on serving others. But you have to put your oxygen mask on first. You can't serve and help others if you're not taking care of yourself. And what's really interesting is many, many years ago, like maybe 100 years ago, the word selfish had no negative connotation to it. It was basically the equivalent of self-care. And so doctors at that time were publishing works that were basically encouraging everyone to be selfish. And what they meant was take care of yourself so that you can take care of others. Because if you aren't strong, how are you going to be a leader at your house? How are you going to be a leader in this group, with your partners, just in the community day to day? It's very hard to do, so you have to protect your mindset. And one of the ways you have to protect your mindset, by the way, is to look at your environment, which is why I love that all of you are in a group like this, because this is an environment full of people who are inspired. We have people in our life that are going to contact us and complain about everything, right? And we have to decide, are these the people I want in my environment, and how are they influencing my mindset? And so you have to stop and say, well, wait a minute, there are people in my life I can't get rid of. I can't just, get rid of family members or whatever, and I get that. I love my mother to death. She's like the best mother in the world. But my mother loves drama. And my mother is the kind of person that you can see her at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and you'll just be like, well, hey, how are you? And usually, no one really wants anyone to answer that question. We're just trying to be polite. My mom answers it. And she's like, well, let me tell you, it's been a horrible day. And I'm like, why? And she's like, you won't believe what just happened to me. And I'm like, oh my God, Mom, what just happened to you? And she's like, well, first of all, when I woke up, I'm like, wait, what just happened to you? How when you woke up have anything to do with this? But she just wants to let you know that basically someone pulled out in front of her, and so now it's a bad day because of this one little thing. This is what happens. Like, we get exposed to these things all the time, but we aren't consciously stopping to say, what are we consuming and digesting? If any of you, for example, were to get on social media for maybe 3 seconds, your doctor should probably prescribe you like an antidepressant or something, because it's nothing but people arguing about everything, and it's a lot of negativity. So you have to decide, well, wait a minute, do I want these people in my feed? Like, you can unfollow and unfriend these people. And it sounds kind of negative, but when you stop and say, well, wait a minute, I have to be strong so that I can help others and influence others in a positive way. One of my favorite quotes ever that I try to live by in my business, from Pastor Rick Warren, he says, the purpose of influence is to help those without it. So as we try to increase our influence, we have to pay attention to who and what are influencing us. And if you are consuming the news 24/7, you are absolutely limiting how influential you're going to be. And if you are surrounded by a bunch of people that are super negative or have a bad outlook on life and this year and everything, I get it. We have a lot of reasons to justify and validate that. But that doesn't actually help you. And we have to stop and say, well, wait a minute. Yes, there are situations that are not great. There are people that have had hard times. But there are also still people that are thriving. And where are you going to focus? And you can't just make up your mind that because this year is crazy, I guess it's over. I guess it's done. We have a lot of year left. This year can be amazing. I have people that run into me, and when they hear that this is the best year of my life, they look at me like I'm completely insane. But I didn't know what all was going to happen. But in January, my daughter got saved. And I remember telling her, I was like, now nothing bad can happen the rest of the year. I'm sorry. I had no idea when I said that this was going to happen. But you have to watch for the environment and what you're consuming. And the second thing is, now is the time to lead the way. Every opportunity that you have is an opportunity for you to step up as a leader. The world needs leadership now more than ever, and I don't mean politically, I'm talking in this community. Every single person, I promise you, every single person in your life is silently begging to be led. We want to know what we should do. We want someone to take us by the hand and show us the way. So the truth is, this year is amazing for each and every one of you because we've never been given an opportunity to lead others and help and serve like this. Because now people are way more open to it. Last year, they all thought their crazy life was perfect. So they didn't want help. They didn't want to be inspired. They didn't want resources and advice. Now they realize, wait a minute, I need stuff. I need help. I need to plug in a community. So what happens in a lot of situations like this is people end up, they contract. They do less, right? It's easy to do. Everything's crazy. I'm just going to chill. I'm just going to lay low, do my normal thing, keep my family healthy, and wait for the storm to be over. But that's not what leaders do. In times like this, leaders step up and do more. So now's the time for you to be more visible than you've ever been. So if you put out content in your life or your business, you need to put out more content than you ever did before. Because when you share a positive message, by the way, it's going to stand out instantly. And this is what's so frustrating for someone like myself who, since 1998, has spent every single day of my life trying to help people understand marketing and branding. And everybody's like, well, how do I stand out? And how do I be different? Well, guess what? 99.9% of all social media posts are negative, which is a true statistic that I just made up. So if you post something positive and encouraging, if you post something helpful, then guess what? You immediately stand out. It has never been easier now to help others and serve them and be a leader. And I love you guys went around and you did the dollar in the pot. I was so thankful. Like, everyone's like, what are you happy for? I was happy I left my wallet in the car. Because I don't have cash on me. I'm a debit card guy. So I was like, you know what? This was a good move. These payments are way too tight to carry a wallet. So I was like, you know what? I'll just leave it in the car today. So the thing is like, you're going through and you're talking about your partners that you're helping. And you're reaching out to. And they're talking, you know, some have ghosted us and all of that, because that happens. What's up with these people? Come on. You know, pay your dues, at least we'll be fine. Show up, whatever. But here's the thing. What a great time to follow up with people, because we all have a reason now. Forever we have thought, well, I don't want to bug this person. Should I check in on them? What do I say? Well, all you have to do now is say, hey, it's still 2020. Are you okay? Like, we've got a reason to reach out to anybody to check on them and to lead them and influence them. So your coworkers, your family, not your in-laws, let's be real, we don't need to get crazy with this whole year. They're fine, just ignore them. But, you know, the people in your community, the people in this group and in this program, the people that are your customers and clients, or, you know, whatever your situation is, we've got this great excuse now to check in on people. And to reach out and love them and show them that we care and help them. Why are we not doing that 10 times more than we did last year when we thought things were amazing and easy? Because now is when they need us the most. Now is when they're open to receiving it. And the third thing I want to talk to you about is something that is really, really fascinating, and it's your attitude. Now, when people hear someone talk about attitude, they're like, well, that's a motivational speaker, and he's talking about attitude, whatever. I totally get it. But that's a bad attitude for you to have, to be thinking about me talking about attitude, right? Here's the thing. Harvard and Yale have only teamed up 3 times in the history of these universities to do a study together. And one of them was about challenges, roadblocks, obstacles, things like that. And they were trying to determine what was the biggest factor in whether or not someone overcame a bankruptcy or a divorce or a lost parent or a lost child or a business failure or whatever it may be. What was the thing that most influenced their ability to overcome that when some people don't? And after 8 years of research, they said without question, the only thing that determines it was the people's attitude about it. That some people said, yeah, this is not fun, this is not good, but also, this is not now my permanent life. This isn't the permanent situation that I'm in. So you have to understand that your attitude is not only going to determine how well you do this year, but your attitude is the thing that every single person out there is judging and paying attention to. We get ready in the mornings and we worry about, is what I'm wearing okay? Is my hair okay? Or my makeup? For me, it's the beard. It takes longer to get this beard right than it does this hair. And let me also just tell you, when you have a beard like this, and then the whole world says you gotta wear a mask, no, this is not a fun thing. I've got the mask, I'll wear it. If I put the mask on, I look stupid the rest of the day. That's just the way it is. It's like, forget it, you can't even deal with it. This is my big problem of 2020. The thing is people are looking at your attitude. When you go to a restaurant, how many of us have gone to a restaurant here in Hendersonville? So many great restaurants. The food was fine, but we walk out and we say, I didn't really like that server. Why? They brought us the food, right? They brought us the check. They did the thing that they always do. What we didn't like was their attitude. Or on the other side, we leave and say, wow, I love that place. That server was amazing, and you're now in a good mood because a complete stranger's attitude positively affected you. And so we're sitting here now and we're saying, how do we do these things? How do we serve? How do we build goodwill? How do we build better friendships? Listen, friendships, put strangers in that as well. Every single person you come in contact with, you have the opportunity to impact their day. And if you want to thrive this year and in the future, make it your mission every single day to say, I want every single person who comes in contact with me to be glad that they did. Whether they ran into me in person, whether I was just briefly chatting with them at the checkout counter, whether they only saw my social media post or whatever. If every single person that you come in contact with says, you know what, I like them, because they like your attitude, you are going to be able to help and serve so many more people. And the whole theme to all of this is then if you make sure your attitude is good, then you're going to influence those people in a positive way. But if you don't, you're still going to influence them, but not in the way that you hope. And I'm assuming that a program like this, you want more members, right? You want to grow. You want to help more people, right? Well, what you don't want is for someone here to go out there and have a bad attitude with someone else, and then that person's going to say, oh, they're in Rotary? Yeah, then forget that group. We know this happens. This happens all the time in church, right? I remember when my wife and I, we had grown up in church, and we stopped going to church because we were early 20s, and I don't think you're allowed to go to church when you're in your early 20s. At least that was the story I told myself. So we were finally like, you know what? We need to go back to church. Actually, what happened is we struggled to have kids. I did the whole guy thing, which was pray to God. I was like, if you give us a child, I'll make sure he grows up in church. And then God was like, no, you're pregnant. And I'm like, oh, crap. We gotta go to church. So we go to church. And when we were looking for churches, my wife immediately was like, hey, there's this church and there's that church. And immediately I said, no, I will not go to that church because I know Brad goes there and I don't like Brad. That dude, he's horrible. And my wife was like, well, there are 4,000 other people that go to that church. You're worried about Brad? And I'm like, yes. I'm not going to that church because of Brad. She's like, what about this church? And then I had another thing. And the truth is, what it was, I'm judging an entire community that I wasn't even willing to try because of the attitude of people involved in that community. And so, by the way, I know not everybody here is a small business owner, but for those of you that are, or you're in some kind of leadership position, please understand the difference between a small business and the big brands out there, the Googles and the Disneys and all of that. It is those companies are absolutely so disciplined and focused on how do we make every experience with us insanely amazing. We want every single person who comes in contact with us to be wowed by that. So even if they have a complaint, we want it to be so much fun when they complain and they're exchanging a product or whatever, that they can't help but then turn that from a negative into something positive. So we often sit here and we go through the motions and we're trying to adjust and we're just doing the best we can. That's what we keep saying. I'm hanging in there, I'm surviving, I'm doing the best we can. As leaders, that's not our standard. Our standard is, no, I need to now step up more than anything. So when all this happened, by the way, what was it, like March or something, I think, when everything came? By the way, let me just say as a side note, in January, my wife, who lives on studying any kind of like news story and conspiracy theory out there, in January she comes to me and she's like, I gotta tell you about something. And I'm like, what? She's like, there's a virus going on. It's gonna come here and it's gonna be bad. And of course, like anything I did, I was like, honey, I need you to get back on Pinterest, get happy again, and stop paying attention to any of this other craziness because life is too amazing, we're all good. And then 2 months later, she was like, well, what about now? What about, how about that conversation we had? And like every man, I was like, I do not know what you're talking about. I don't remember that conversation at all. I mean, it sounds amazing, but I don't, are you sure it was me? Maybe you were talking to somebody else. So in March, when all this stuff happened, every client that I had, friends that I had, every single person in a leadership role, which we all are, I told all of them, I said, listen, rest next year. This is our time. We're being called to step up and impact people in a positive way. So not only does the world need us, and not only does Rotary need us, but every single person in Hendersonville needs you. I mean, I don't want to say anything bad about anything, but if you go to Hendersonville, this city needs us, all right? Like, this city needs great attitudes in a big way. So thank you all so much for allowing me to be here today. Take care, God bless.
Thank you. I just have one question. I'm filing a lawsuit today against somebody. How do I make them happy when I serve them? Hi!
You can change their life in unknown ways.
You're exactly right. I think it's going to cost them a ton of money. By the way, we ask our speakers to sign a book. We donate this to, I believe, Gene Brown Elementary.
Gene Brown Elementary.
My wife went to Hendersonville Elementary, so there. Which is, of course, Gene Brown Elementary. We are at the end of our program. So, Brenna, will you come up and give us the thought for the day?
So you guys can all thank Oliver for telling me a little bit about the history of Bob and the thought for the day. So I have 3 little thoughts. The first one is, why don't cannibals eat clowns? Anybody know? Because they taste funny. Second, if at first you don't succeed, then skydiving is not for you. And then my favorite one, actually, is George Bernard Shaw said that the joy in life is to be used for a purpose. I want to be all used up when I die.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great day.
This week, okay. It's coordinated with you.
Yeah, Brenna's off.